What's up guys, welcome to another MOTOBOB video, and today I'm going to talk about 3 reasons to run 2 cameras when you're motovlogging. So I've got the GoPro Hero Session on my bars here, and I'm using the Hero 5 Black on my helmet here, and this is a prime example of why I would run 2 cameras, especially if you do a lot of motovlogging in town or in the city, because you're going to spend quite a lot of your time sat at the lights. So I try and get some of my motovlogging done when I'm commuting to work or back, and pretty much half of it is sitting at traffic lights. And if you're just going to use the camera on your helmet, there's not a great deal to look at. Sometimes it'll just be the back of a car or the back of a lorry. So having that handlebar camera to switch to gives you a little bit of variety, perhaps when the kind of scenery around you isn't particularly interesting. And it's a little bit like regular vlogging as well, you know, you can just talk into the camera, and it also, you know, can sometimes help you to explain what you're talking about if you can use gestures, that kind of thing. Second reason to run 2 cameras is that quite often when the traffic is crazy like this, especially when you've got a lot of pedestrians, a lot of cyclists, other motorbikes, cars, buses, lorries, all that kind of thing, sometimes you just need to shut up and concentrate. And that's going to mean that when you review your raw footage, when you get it onto your computer, there's going to be gaps of seconds, if not minutes sometimes, and you need to edit that out to keep the video flowing and keep it moving and keep it interesting and keep it engaging. So editing those little gaps out is what's known as a jump cut. And if you start getting lots of jump cuts, perhaps what you've got is, you know, good footage and you're saying what you want to say, but it just isn't flowing, so you want to cut the gaps out. Lots of jump cuts will then mean that the visuals, if you're just using the helmet cam, especially because your head moves around a lot, starts to look a bit glitchy because you've got all these little jumps of your head movement. The handlebar mounted camera, because it's zoomed out and it's not really affected by your head movement, you might see a little bit of kind of that glitching style look of people moving their head, but it's just not quite as noticeable and it doesn't really disrupt the flow. The other thing you can do is, if you've got like a couple of jump cuts or a succession of them, is switch from one camera, like the helmet camera, to the handlebars and then back to the helmet, and it starts to flow a little bit and it looks quite neat. Whereas if you were just doing that on one camera like this and it's jumping all the time, just looks a bit lame. So that's my tip. So number 1 was like mix it up, especially when you're sat at lights like this, you know, talk to the camera on the bars. Number 2 is mask the jump cuts a little bit, makes it look a little bit more professional and less annoying as well for the viewer to having all the jumping around. Number 3, come on, bit of drumming. To be loved and be loved. The last reason that I'm going to talk about for using a second camera is that although the majority of people that subscribe to my channel, I'd say pretty much everybody, and the people that comment are very nice, reasonable, empathetic, and probably acknowledge that we're not all perfect drivers. You know, although that's the case, there's still going to be people on YouTube who aren't necessarily subs. Maybe just those folks passing through found your kind of video in the right hand rail, who look for every little traffic infraction or like 1 or 2 miles an hour over the speed limit. course, on my helmet cam, you're going to see everything that's happening in front of me, and also I've got a massive digital speedo there as well, which is easily picked up. So I'm not saying that every time I switch to my handlebar camera that I'm riding like an idiot or going double the speed limit, but occasionally, you know, you've got good footage, you've got content that you want to use, but maybe you've just crept over the line, or you're just going a few miles an hour over or whatever, and you can just cut to your handlebar camera and then you've no need to worry about it. It's a little bit difficult to express what I mean without sounding like, as I say, I ride like crazy, but you know, there's always going to be little things that crop up. When you review footage of yourself riding, it makes you a better rider because you think, I probably shouldn't have just passed that car like that, or maybe I should have checked my shoulder there, or maybe I could have indicated a bit sooner. But yeah, it's good to do that on your own. You don't need everybody reviewing your riding footage. Anyway, that's just a few ideas. Hope that's useful to some of you motovloggers out there, or maybe interesting if you're not. If you've got any questions about motovlogging, love to hear them in the comments below. I'm by no means, you know, an expert, but we can all share our ideas. And if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, then click subscribe.